Hey there, Ride the Car Guy here, and today we're going to do a quick video on cleaning and testing your fuel injectors. Now I'm doing this as part of a rebuild project that I'm doing on, of course, this Nissan Titan behind me. It's a 13-part series on the rebuild, so if you're interested in any of that content, go ahead and look in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You can check that out. Since I have the fuel rails out as part of the project, it's a great time to just pull each one off, make sure it's in good condition, that it's working correctly, and that it's clean. Now, as part of this job, I want you to expect to buy new O-rings. Do not reuse O-rings on fuel injectors, please. Reusing a little gasket or an O-ring here and there when it's retaining oil or antifreeze is really not the end of the world. However, if you rank, the different fluids that can leak out of your vehicle, fuel's definitely at the top. That's the one you really don't want leaking. So get new O-rings and we'll just make it part of this process. I'm gonna do one bank at a time, and taking them out is quite simple. You have a little retaining clip here and you just wanna pull from the sides very gently and just slide it back and pull it out. Really easy. Once that's off, just gently pull this out, and you wanna pull as straight out as possible. I'm gonna rock a little bit. There we go. Excellent. Just repeat that 3 more times and pull each one of these injectors off. Sometimes the O-ring will pop off. That's no big deal. You're just going to remove that anyways. There we go. All right, with all these out, we're going to want to make sure this is clean and kind of prepped before we reinstall, but we'll do that a little bit later. Just set that aside and grab your 4 injectors and we'll get those clean. Now you're gonna have 2 O-rings on the injector. You have one near the little jet here and one near the intake. We're gonna leave this one on for now because we're actually gonna use it in the next step. This one you can go ahead and remove. So that way when you're cleaning, you can clean off the inside of this where the O-ring sits, and you're not gonna recontaminate it once you clean it with the injector cleaner. So I'm just gonna pop this one off. I'm using a little flathead screwdriver, but be careful not to actually scratch the surface of that the O-ring sits on, of course. There we go. I just got it through there, and then it tears. So when they're old enough, they just get brittle, right? So it makes it easy for us. Now I'm just gonna use a paper towel with a little bit of carb cleaner on it, and I'm just gonna wipe this whole thing off. Both sides really, just everything that needs to get cleaned, and then we'll go throw it in the actual injector cleaner and run some carb cleaner through it. Might have a ton of carbon buildup, a lot of junk on them. As you can see here, we got lots of nastiness on there. But I'm just wiping down both sides and just getting the whole thing clean. You can temporarily remove the top O-ring if you want. That easily rolls off. It's a real thick one. So you can clean underneath. But go ahead and throw it back on when you're done, because like I said, we're gonna use it in the cleaner. One last thing I wanna do, and that's just grab a little compressed air and make sure that the inside of this is clean and the inside of this little intake here. You may not have to do this. I just had an absolute ton of sand in the vehicle that I was working on, so there was sand inside here I just wanted to get out. Now to clean the little jet and clean the inside of the injector, and of course test it to make sure it works, we're gonna use an actual fuel injector tester. You can find these all over Amazon or eBay, but I'll of course throw a link inside the description to pick this exact one up if you wanna use it. 2 sets of leads. These leads go to the injector, these go to a 12-volt battery. It's pretty convenient because my car battery is already out, so I have that set aside, and we'll use that here in just a moment. It also comes with 2 little sort of like tubes that you slide your fuel injectors into, and you can put in your carb cleaner or whatever cleaner you're using on this side, shove your fuel injector into this side, pressurize it, and of course run this tester to blow cleaner through it. Now I decided to do something a little bit different, only because I found it difficult to create pressure using just the hose and the can and sliding into this thing. It needed to be sealed up on the end. So I went ahead and sacrificed one of my little red tubes, and I got some 2-part epoxy, some high strength plastic epoxy, and I just roughed up the little red tube and dropped in some high strength epoxy, let it sit, and now it's perfectly sealed, and I don't have to worry about the hose blowing out anymore. This process is super simple. You grab the injector side, obviously the intake, push it into this. There we go. Make sure that's nice and tight. Grab your leads, and I've been doing positive on the right if you're looking at it like this, and it should, I've heard that it works both ways, either way. I did it the first time, it worked, so I kept doing it that way. How about that? So I'll show you my setup here in a minute, but I have my leads plugged into the injector. I'm gonna set up my tube into my carb cleaner. There we go. And now I'm not gonna do it right now, but you can go ahead and push this, pressurizes in here, And then when we turn this on, it has, fuel pressure, right? It has liquid pressure to push all of it out. Two quick things you want to be sure of before starting this though. And one is you want to have something to catch the fluid that's going to pump out of this. So I just have like a little empty water bottle. You slide that in before you get started. That way you're not, literally just spraying stuff into the air. And also, while you're working with this, I definitely recommend lung protection. So grab yourself a respirator, not a dust mask, but an actual respirator, so you're not just breathing in carb cleaner. When we go to set this up, we want to apply power to the tester, and you have different modes. So mode 1 is just a relatively long burst, 250 milliseconds. And then you have medium, and then all the way up to number 4 is, I think it's continuous. It'll just keep pulsing until you tell it to stop. When you set the mode and hit pulse, if you want to change the mode again, you have to disconnect the power and reconnect it. It's kind of annoying, but not the end of the world. But that's pretty much it. So I'll show you how this works, and then we'll get this injector clean. Woo! All right, went a little too hard there, but you got the idea. I applied too much pressure to this little tube here, and it actually forced the injector out. But it did get a lot of fluid through it, and it certainly did look like a good spray pattern. I'll try to get a close-up when I try again here, so you can actually see what's going on. Plus another good reason to make sure you have lung protection and eye protection for that matter. Once you're comfortable with how clean it is, and basically what that is making sure that it's misting when it's coming out and it's not just shooting little jets. Go ahead and pulse it until it completely runs out of any fluid. That way we know that this is depressurized, and when you disconnect it, it's not going to just spray in your face. Now set that aside, grab your next one, and repeat that process 3 more times. So we have 4 nice and clean injectors, and next we want to re-ring them. There's 2 sets of rings, and you're going to have a smaller, thinner ring. And that's going to be, oh, actually I have this backwards. There you go. That's going to be on the jet side, and the thick one is going to be on the back. There we go. The top ones are super easy. Just grab it, roll it over, and there it is. Now you want to do the same on the bottom, but the bottom is just going to be a little bit tougher. You want to just set it like this. Don't pull it up here and just stretch it over. You want to put it on the top here and just start rolling it over with a thumb. There we go, just like that. And then roll it the rest of the way. There you go. Do that on the rest, then we'll make sure our rail is clean and get these installed. Prepping the rail is easy. You just want to grab some paper towel, and I'm actually going to use some of the carb cleaner that came out of the injectors. And as long as it's clean, mine actually happens to be super clean. But I'm going to put it on here and just clean each one of these. You want to do inside and out, and then you want to make sure that once they're clean inside, that you blow out this as well, and we'll talk about that in a second here. I have some Q-tips that I can use for the inside. This needs to be crazy clean, guys, because you don't want anything clogging up these injectors, right? That would be most unfortunate. Eye protection before using any compressed air around fuel. Grab a light, stick it down there, and make sure that it looks real good. Now this last part I don't technically recommend. You can run fuel through this if you have like the mechanisms to do that. I don't, so I'm gonna run a little bit of air. Most of the fuel is already drained out, but we are gonna get some spraying. So, lung protection, eye protection, not near any open flames, all that. In fact, just don't do it. That's my official stance, is don't do this. All right, with those super duper clean, our last step is just getting them back installed. So grab one of your injectors, and what you wanna do is just grab a little bit of engine oil. And so I'm gonna grab a Q-tip and go get engine oil on it. Where's my engine oil? There we go. Grab this here. Just put, well, a little bit. My God, don't need that much. There we go. Put a little on here. This is so it doesn't roll over and it seats correctly, right? So just throw that on there. And then you have little tabs. So you have a tab here and a tab here. Line those tabs up. And we're not gonna shove this all the way down. You'll see why in a second here. There we go. Perfect. And when you grab your clip, there's a little ridge inside of the fuel injector, and this needs to sit inside of that and clip over. So just line that up. There we go. In fact, mine needs to come up a little bit here. There. Once it's aligned, just push in. Excellent. And then you'll see on both sides it's supposed to catch this little lip here. Nice and secure. Do that 3 more times and you're done. that's really it. It's a pretty simple job, and you know, once you kind of get over the intimidation factor of working with fuel systems, they're really quite simple. Just follow your vehicle's instructions on getting it back in. Mine's just gonna have me put engine oil on each of the lower O-rings and then push it in and just torque down the bolts to a certain torque. And then I'm ready to rock. Hook the fuel back up and start it up. I hope this video helped. If it did, please help me out. Scroll down, click like, and subscribe if you want more content like this. If this video helped you save a lot of time or money, you can show your appreciation by scrolling down, clicking that thanks button, and sending me a tip. Other than that, folks, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.